Wrong. RLP has been identified as an application of political economics and cultural outreach. Speaker is going to be Mr. Ko. He's a coordinator of Chin organization, and he's going to be giving a testimony on discrimination faced by refugees from Burma. Yeah, so he's a human rights activist working to protect rights of Chin people through documenting, advocating, and educating since moving. Our next speaker is Shaheen Hussain Nandri. She's Chard and Rural Development Society, and her topic is going to be status of minority women of Assam sharing cases of sexual. From the Delhi police, is anybody sitting here? Is okay. Who's going to be speaking on behalf of the? Okay, no. Yeah, you need to take a chair here. Yeah. And then we'll have Ms. Mumtaz. I'm looking for her. Yes. Current a community justice worker at Manipur Women Guns in the office. 2009. Additionally, she's also working with an organization team to take care of women's gun survivors' health. So see, Mr. Arpin is doing BA LLB. He's in his 8th semester and studies intellectual property. Having studied in Manipur, Andhra Pradesh, for public rights. He's heading Checkmate, the debating society. And then we have, you gave me, somebody gave me you've written a note, so, okay, it's right here. Sorry. So we also have this African student representative here. The wrong the name. He's a student of BTech and he's going to be talking about 4 years of Indian experience here. So let's start immediately because it's a large panel, so I don't want to take much time. So let's start with a statement by Ms. Conway.
I'm so happy to be in your midst today, and after and sharing the videos, we are here to share our things. I have and Rina, I thank you, each and everyone, and also I'd like to thank Rina, especially the wonderful sister I have. I thought a question of violence in Manipur, sexual discrimination, sexual a golden opportunity to meet you all, the extreme workers for human rights, which platform presented by the Control Arm Foundation of India and the Multi-Action Research Group, New Delhi, also the European Union, the project supporters. I also quoted the CAFI paper on April 2017, ending sexual conflict under NSC Resolution 1820, and the proclamation made by former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, which states that there is one universal applicable to all countries, communities, violence acceptable, never tolerable. It is true that sexual violence is rampant in Manipur, rampantly taking place in Manipur, regardless of children as well as adults. I have been witnessing and personally get involved in such horrible situations in different parts of Manipur, hill and valleys. But today, let me draw your attention to some incidents occurred since 2012 till then. one Rocket case 2012. It is, I'll not go to all the addresses I have listed. Mrs. Uluna named Chen's wife of Onam was gang raped by men, two men, two IRB personnel, and two civilians. Rupees 2,500 mobile handset and bags of dry kings and king's chilies with attempt to murder. And the mother of four school-going children escaped the death by lying not to disclose the crime as she was strangled and pressed on her throat by the rapists to kill her instantly. The SI of Bisnupur Police Station, Wantiken Singh, who supplied a pistol was the gang leader. The victim overheard a mobile phone conversation between the four rapists and their leaders, and he was left scot-free till now. The historic justice, the life sentence, so the four for the first time in Manipur in 2013. Secondly, on October 5, 12, four minor of the girls in uniform at Kabum Valley, Manipur West was taken to isolated IFCD quarters at that point by two hill-based UG cadres. I have this UG papers and the news clip here. Cadres and brutally raped and physically injured as assaulted to cooperate at gun. The armed rapist while the victim escaped by naked, her face all covered in blood before a gathered outside helplessly. At last, the rapist ran away with AK-47 AK and pistol. The surviving militant rapist Lazanta now on the basis of minor certificate. It is applied by the school. We are so sorry on this part. Okay. Partly, December 2012, one minor girl was dragged into bush near a field at Nepetpally, Imphal East, and sexually assaulted. The victim was forced to strip her clothes and was about 30 years old man and other three police which was for free. One minor came. Fourthly, one citizen, 68 MD Sanayai, 25, son of Ibotin. Go to all the address, sorry. June 17, 2013 at around 2 p.m. She was also looted by the rapists after rape. A charge it was framed, and her, it is heart touching to hear her say, justice, she cannot get the justice done before she dies. A 7-minor-year girl of Don Bosco was also in the same way, and this is the thing is the outside the court the case is how to say compromise. So we are sorry to have this kind of customary. I'll quickly go to that. On 6 February 15, 5-year and 3 months old girl was murdered by one making guy, 16 years old, at Sinicon. The culprit was sent to juvenile home Takial Imphal without awarding befitting punishment. A particular school Bisnupur issued a certificate that facts falsely stated as minor age on a certain political link. So he is got free now. A 26 years old mother of 2 sons was found brutally murdered, even could have been raped and cut into pieces, scattered the body parts in the jungle somewhere in the hill district. The suspect involved in a paramount and her own husband is yet to be booked for justice. One of the accused was on premature bail, out on premature bail within 4 months, according to the learned APP. The police IO failed to submit the statements of the victim's family. This is how the case is under justice. And before I conclude, I take this privilege to recall the terrible situation of the past when my distant auntie sadly unfolded her tales of woe during 1960, when Indian Army assaulted severely and her wise escape from the Army sexual advances for rape even as she was carrying a baby boy on her back. She saw other women were seemingly raped sexually or physically tortured. She also saw their lower garments hang up here and there inside a concentrated house. She said that the two soldiers called her when her turn came to enter the secluded place, but she refused. She was severely beaten on her knee joints and pulled her into the house where the other women were traumatized in all manners. Struggling hard, she crawled out in the presence of the helpless village folk waiting outside. And to another incident, I'd like to recall that when I was on the way home with my brothers and took rest on the road junction after collecting firewood, the army personnel in huge number approached towards us and stood right in front of us and showed an offensive hand gesture, sign of sex, and let me see, in front of my brothers. My whole body shivered with fear, embarrassed, sitting in the midst of my brothers. That day was one of the most horrible and abominable moments in my life. I thought as a young child, the army personnel were more powerful than all the laws of the land, and even village customary courts could not restrict their atrocity and punish them. And I come to the conclusion. I'd like to recall also the past mass rape case committed during 5th to 10 March 2013 by Valley-based UZ. Our team went to women activists visited Lungtulian and Parbung villages and took note of the factual tales of all with condemnation against the violation of women's rights and dignity. All forms of sexual violence and discrimination against women are rampantly taking place in the state of Manipur, but only few cases are registered due to the lack of legal awareness, economic problem, compromising customary courts, threat to life, religious strong concept, and the elite of the better informed people in the valley are getting some certain facts of justice. But the women of the hills find it very difficult to seek legal justice. It is needed to run from pillar to pole for a pause for a little bit of help. So let me also mention some causes that may be not correct in your case. Addiction to drugs, misuse of mobile phone or internet, lack of proper education, parental negligence to impart moral values. So I'm sorry, at times I also take as our faults that our children in Delhi, in mainland or different parts of the country are naughty sometimes. So we are sorry for that. So we share the pains and the trouble shared by the cities of our dear ones. Misuse of power. And 6th point is poverty. Victim violence are mostly, with my experience from whole poor family backgrounds. Job mobility. My dear ones, my children have come down to Delhi, Bangalore, and Bombay, different parts of the countries. So this is how I conclude. It is my humble appeal to all nations, international forum to extend more attention to this part of the world as to help assert to the rights of women and protection from sexual violence, which seems unavoidable. Our objectives of ending sexual violence can be accomplished and our endeavor can be fruitful if we are determined in all activities and above all let us trust in God. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ormai. Perhaps I'll be a little rude from now. I'll allow you just 10 minutes. So, and we have volunteers here telling you the time is up. So keep on looking. So can I ask Mr. Kundot to give his testimony?
Hello. Okay, thank you so much, madam, and I'll go very quickly. So here my topic is the testimony on the discrimination faced by the Burmese in Delhi. So, okay, next is the here populations. There are 4,000 refugees from Burma in Delhi, and the majority is of Chin ethnics from Burma. And it is believed that there are about 3,500 Chin refugees in Delhi, which according to the Chin community, and out of these, 60% of the population is women and children. So more than the thousands, more than lakh flee the country since early 1988, which is the student uprising, race crackdown. The Chin people flee the country and then they scatter in different countries, like Malaysia, and then lakh, more than 1 lakh are in the Mizoram, and then the since last year 2014-15, we are about the 12,000 is Delhi, but some people they are shifted to Malaysia, and we are now about the 3,500 in Delhi now. Okay, next please. And then when we talk Chin, I am wondering, many people may not know who are the Chin people. So we are from the Burma, and there are 7 ethnic minorities in the Burma, like Arakan, Chin, Kachin, Karen, Mun, and Xians, and account for 4% of the total populations. And Chins is one of ethnic minority indigenous groups, and more than 90% are Christians. So here is we flee the country for 2 reasons. First is because we are discriminated on our belief based on religions, and we are the ethnics because of our identity. So the policy, which is the ruling the dictatorships, is like cleansing the ethnic minority and to eliminate other religions like Muslim, Christians. So we flee the country. Here is in the true, and also a lot of the the forced labors, and then human rights violations perpetrated by the Burmese military. Next, please. So as I said, we are 1,500 in Delhi refugee, and then since India is not the signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention or 1976 Protocol, Indians do not have a domestic legal framework for the protections of refugee. So here is, okay, next please. Here is UNHCR, they issue the refugee card. The refugee card, which is like the beneficiary for the eligible to apply for long time, but very few successful. And then we have to here is not that the refugee card is not accepted in the local company or even any institutions, that we cannot open the even bank accounts. We cannot buy even SIM card with the cards. Okay, next please. And then here treating Myanmar's and protect in India. In 2011, the Human Rights Watch, I think, reports that the Chin people are not safe in Burma, are not protected in India, and the situation is the same. And because the things, we have the same face with the North peoples, and whatever the problem with the Northeast, we are directly affected. And then we have, because we have the same features, face, skin colors, and we speak our brothers' Mizo language, and nobody can differentiate us whether we are Burmese, Chin, or the North people. So whatever the problem comes relating to the Northeast, we are directly affected. And then there are many cases documented like this. In 2007 or 2010, 11, even gang rapes. And then there is like this and also discriminations by our neighbors, the local peoples. And okay, next please. This is the problems. 90% of Chin refugee household live in one room. This is our rooms, 10 to 13 squares with no window or ventilations. And then thousands of Chin house evictions. Half of all Chin feel unsafe going to or return to from work, and 90% of Chin feels that their neighborhoods are unsafe, and then 80% of Chin have experienced physical assaults. Next, please. So our women's, they are abused, and there's many cases discrimination from the the many various layers, and then people, lot of the refugees, they work at the company, they earn only the like 5,000s. They have to pay the rents higher with they earn, and then the rents is the local people charge higher than the landlord they charge higher than some local people, and there is no rent agreement, and there is no the electric bill and water, there is no fix. We have to pay extra, and then whenever the landlord reaches, they have he can increase, and then even if we complain to the police stations, there is no action taken by the police, or we approach to the UNHCRs or the social legal centers partnered by UNHCRs, there is no action probably taken. So there's our situation. So here is another thing, racial and sexual violation. The CHR is found that more than 90% of Chin households in New Delhi feel unsafe in their neighborhoods, and then where 80% of them experience eviction and physical abuse. There's a lot of eviction because they work in the company, they don't get their pay the sale times. Okay, so please read. And if you are interested on this, the documentation, my time is going to be out. And then there's our situation, the financial hardship. Okay, and thank you. This is my recommendation. We are living in the big democratic country, and my demand is to provide peaceful environment, to exercise our basic human rights, and to ensure to provide realistic, durable solution for children refugees. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off, but thank you so much. We have too many people speaking here. But I'm so glad that we have you speaking here, because you usually focusing on Rohingyas and focusing on the other communities which are coming. And also this thing of it becoming a Muslim versus Buddhist thing, rather than talking about how actually it's a state which is undertaking certain kind of ethnic cleansing across the country. So thank you so much, and we'll have a discussion later on about that. Let me call upon Ms. Nongri now. She's going to be sharing cases of sexual violence from Assam, particularly minority women.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I feel proud sitting here in front of this August gathering, and yet prouder more speaking for the Muslim minority women in Assam, my state. I start with a quote by Gore Vidal. You cannot deprive somebody of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, because that is right. But are the Muslim minority women enjoying these rights? That is the big question. Status of a woman in primarily refer to the position of the woman in society in relation to man. Although geographically man and woman share the space, yet they are not treated equally in the world. However, in reality, there exists inequality in women access to education, social, political, and economic resources. It has been noticed that Muslim women are the worst affected among women in Assam. Poverty is not the sole cause for the plight of Muslim women, but seem to distinguish Muslim women from those of other communities, includes the social and political and economic factors. feudal mindset, the man never wanted Muslim women to get education and always thought that if they become literate and aware, then they will question them. Therefore, this man feudalistic mindset never took interest in the development of Muslim women. Gender discrimination. Muslim face discrimination in many areas of public life, but women are held back further because as passive, uninformed, and uninterested in the world beyond their doorstep. Subservient role of Muslim women. Muslim women should always listen to her and her husband. She has to choose to wear a veil in public, and also she has no role in terminating a marriage. Objective Muslim matter of the Muslim woman usually depict that she is a practicing Muslims and has of objectification of her takes place. Problem sexual record and awareness. Muslim face violence in a lot of areas. They are not aware of the legal protection and right available for them. They are helpless victims in marriages and relationships. So we need more measures for protection against sexual violence against the Muslim women. Therefore, I just want to share one video. It's a totally disturbing video. इनके हस्बैंड ने बहुत खुना था इनसे घर से लेके आए, नहीं तो इसको अल्टीमेटम दिया गया था कि उसको 3 डेज के अंदर इंस्टेंट तलाक के ऊपर जो अभी बहस चल रही है तो उनको तलाक दिया जाएगा। आप या फिर बाइक दो, नहीं तो आप घर छोड़ के जाओ, तलाक दे देते हैं। तो ये रूल अपने हाथ पे ले लिए। तो इसीलिए मैं गुजारिश का कैफी से मार्च से कि लीगल अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम बहुत ही जरूरी है हर कोने पे, बेसिकली 6 एरियाज पे, विलेज एरिया में। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much. That was very disturbing. Thanks for bringing this. And people usually end up talking about minorities in Assam, but this intersectionality of gender and minority rights is something I'm focused upon. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Do we have a representative from the delegates here?
Well, we had presentations yesterday. He came yesterday, no?
Okay, so his name's here too. Okay, so we'll have a testimony of Ms. Mumtaz Begum. She's going to be talking about minority women.
Thank you all. My name is Mrs. Mumtaz. I'm a conflict-affected widow. I have 5 children. I lost my husband in 7 March 2009. And it's
Very little bit awareness of legal how
for days the natung siday da aina station na chatle duga FIRP ha da FIRP de then ai mana chatte aba mapam sing da aina chala kanda ai gitar ka lai bisa de si mani mention servers network rimang tu contact number on the pira
and she started after getting to know her rights more. She started police station, and when they still refused to file an FIR, she started allowing for registering an FIR for her. They in writing why they don't attend on police for and questioning why her
Sila music so kaino oil then ahanbada ay adumana conflict habidi bagi laite adu sigi manung dai hinda ay duga ay pesa earn tawi and chasing na so dum matsa sing dina dum khara help tawi ngonda duga ahinga mada ay kwasu pare chi keji kun chape duga nongala ga iya dun
she also became after due consultation with IFAM, the organization that she has met earlier. She vulnerable and not knowledgeable are going through. So that started helping them out, and she go to a lawyer and get a list of several other minority women like herself, and start reaching out and start helping them out. After that, at the time, she has also no money for even for education of our children and all. So at that time, she started also selling betel nuts. She sell around 20 kg of betel nuts. She do the work of doing the
mating pang ko kay benefit no idagi pang waya
Minister of Minority and Other she reached out to the minister. She doesn't name the minister, but she got there said that there are no support from the government side and we can't help anything, and also she was disheartened. But she's saying that he said that he's going to Delhi at the time. And
individually
after that, she started making the women aware by let them participate in legal trainings and all, and started to reaching out to various departments for scholarships, for widow pensions and all. They have also got widow pensions. Some could not get, but some also they succeed in getting their rights. Yeah.
Sexual violence that sexual violence that gender-based violence that last year 6 years ki angang ama rate tawba ado rate tawba si apina CWC district da thara da horaga ngasi numiti dai da pregnant oraga halaga hundopi ramba adu gi dama ai isamana chalaga
Her work also now does sexual violence and violence. Last year, she reached out for help for and they have um, okay, they have taken they have taken support from the child welfare. A pregnant woman was raped. They um, taking out the FIR from the police station, and the police was not since the police was the case was not going in the right way, so they reapplied through Manipur Gun Survivors Network, and now after the application and after 3 months, the accused is jailed.
Thank you. Anh thèn nói với mày làm sẽ anh bà xin làm ra cái mày làm sẽ thèn nói rồi.
Lastly, she said that the happenings that she is going through, sometimes thought that if her husband was alert, she won't be very so strong.
Thank you, Ms. Begum. These are the stories that we want to hear, beyond victimhood, and, reclaiming your agency despite all these, that you face.
Both are one.
Both of you. I'll introduce her later because I haven't even introduced her.
First of all, I'd like to thank Mem Bina and members of CAFI for giving us this opportunity in presenting a student testimony on racial discrimination in Delhi NCR. Our presentation would be a two-part system where he would be talking about the definitions and everything and the incidences, where being a law student, I felt it is in the best side that we include a little bit of legal perspective and a legal case relating to racial discrimination.
Thank you, Arvind. Good afternoon, one and all. First, let's start by basically discussing what racial discrimination is. So, race is a form of social construction not based on some natural or unchangeable scientific fact, but it rather describes the social meanings attached to racial categories. The biological differences that exist do not make race a social construction, but it is rather the society's interpretation of the difference. The difference of race stems the problem of racial discrimination. So now coming to the definition, the International Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination defines racial discrimination as any distinction, exclusion, restriction or preference based on race or national or ethnic origin which has the purpose or effect of nullifying or impairing the recognition in the political, cultural or any other field of public. Who hailed from Meghalaya, Dana Sagma, who committed, and then coming to the death of Nido Tanya. He was a student who raised eyebrows regarding the safety of the secure bill. The court had the limit guidance safety of northeastern population in Delhi NCR.
And also a professional school will only deal with matters of racial discrimination. And also, I think this is the most important introduction of Northeast in education system. As of Surit and I have not come across any part of Northeast being discussed in our syllabus, and it's important that we. It's a platform where people are allowed to express their views, and using the benefit of this platform for a legal awareness campaign regarding racial issues would be beneficial. And also the committee has recommended relationship to build via sports, and also promoting indigenous sports of the region. Also, I would like to discuss a case by the name Karma Dorji and others versus Union of India. This case was brought in front of the Supreme Court under Article 32 of the Constitution for violation